How's it going, everyone? It's Peter here with GoodyReader.com. We're going to do a review of the Sony Smartwatch 2 today. This will be a overview of what this thing can do, what it can't do, its limitations, compatibility, any issues it has, and a quick overview of the watch itself. So without further ado, let's dive into the Sony Smartwatch 2. We're going to look at the hardware before we dive into the software and what this thing can do on the inside. So here's the Sony Smartwatch. Looks very nice. It's very sleek. It's all black. That's what it looks like on your wrist. It's not too large. I thought it would be larger. It actually, when I was wearing it for a couple days to kind of get used to it, a couple people said, "Oh, do you have a new watch?" Just kind of casually, and I didn't say anything like, "Oh, it's my smartwatch." They were just like, "Oh, cool," and then kind of that was it. So it wasn't until I dove in and said, "Hey, well, it's a smartwatch," did they actually say, "Oh, really? I didn't notice." So I also had a analog watch face, but either way, you have this very nice kind of metal trim around the outside of the bezel. You can see that the time is sometimes there, sometimes not. It's because it uses the ambient light to kind of conserve energy instead of having the LCD backlight on all the time, so you can read the time. You can see it. Depends on the angle. You may or may not be able to see it. You have the home button, back button, more button, traditional kind of Android buttons on there. You have the USB port on the side for micro USB charging, cable included. You have several rungs of sizing slots. Seems to be 9 or 10. I'm not going to go ahead and count them. You have two of the band clamps, band kind of loops to if you have a small wrist, there's going to be a lot of band left over. Nice plastic, high quality Sony logoed. I don't know what all the parts of a watch are called, so I'm kind of struggling here, but this thing that goes in this stuff. And on the back, you have all of the Sony certification stamps and all that fun stuff. Power button on the side and ambient light sensor up top. So let's dive in to see what this thing can do rather than what it looks like. Software time. We're going to go through each one of these things one by one, basically, because there are only about 12 apps loaded on this. The amount of apps you can load on it, there's a lot. You'd have to go to the Sony Smart Connect hub to kind of find all the things that you can load on this. But I mean, it's like an Android phone. If we were to do an Android phone review, we're not going to show you 3 million apps, every single one. So we're just showing you the core functionality of the device. So you have things like alarm. You can set your alarm just like you can on a phone. You have flashlight. It's basically just a very white screen, pre-maxed out with the brightness. Doesn't really have an LED anywhere on here. So that's what that is. You have a battery indicator up top. The 3 little dots indicating you have messages waiting. These are the amount of pages you have left and right. Bluetooth connection on, and the time. You have call, and this will allow you to browse your contacts, your favorites, and of course dial for your phone. That's the dial pad. And then the missed call, incoming and outgoing call log. So you can click that and you can call someone from there. For example, here's my home. So I can press that and it tells me when it called, who called, and then I can either call back or I can make an SMS. So you can go like that, and then on your phone it starts to function and kind of triggers SMS. You can't actually call from this, like you hold it up to your head and go hello and talk through it. There's no microphone, there's no camera on this. Also with SMS, you can't actually type on this, so it's kind of one way. Next is Facebook. We have Facebook notifications. You have to sync your Facebook account, of course, but once you do, you can view all the notifications. You have messaging. Of course, you have all your text messages. This is music player, but it will only work with this specific type of music player installed on your phone. If you have a different music player, they don't know how to communicate. That's what happens when you have something that's kind of universal in a way, work with all Android devices. You run into things like that. This is your new events. It covers SMS, WhatsApp, Line, anything you basically have installed on this all in one. We have settings. We'll go to settings last because actually that's going to be kind of a lengthy list. We'll skip this for a sec. We'll go stopwatch. You have a stopwatch. This is your timer, and you have WhatsApp notifications. So it's not your WhatsApp list. You can't really control anything from WhatsApp. It's only if something comes in, then you see that it says one person and so forth. This one's really cool right here because if you have your phone here and you press, and you'll see that I won't press anything. I'll hold it right here. Actually, here. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So let's press camera. What it'll do is actually trigger the camera on your phone. Oh, it timed out. So press on and press camera. And when you do, automatically turns the camera on your phone, and it displays whatever you're looking at on your smartwatch. Hello. See? It's a little bit slow because it has to pretty much transmit frame by frame anything that's going on in your phone all the way to your smartwatch. But it's pretty cool because you can kind of, well, it's just a cool feature. And it says pause, tap to resume, so we'll go back. And settings is the last thing we wanted to look at. I'll keep my phone here because I'm going to show you guys Sony Smart Connect. And once again, I apologize if this is really small and hard to read because it is a very small screen. So we have Bluetooth, vibrate, display. If you go to display, you have brightness and notification style. You have watch faces. You can cycle through all the different types of watch faces that the watch has. I was going to say phone. So you have analog watch faces. You just tap it to kind of make that the one you want. Apps, you can turn what apps you want off and on. You have date and time, of course, 24-hour clock, set date and time. You have security. You can have a pin. Support, reset smartwatch, and about smartwatch, just kind of information telling you your version number and all that. So what we want to do on the phone now is turn on Sony Smart Connect, and you see I have a smartwatch here, so you can click on that. You'll kind of need this to set up. You will need this to set your smartwatch up for the first time. It asks you to go to this. These are the apps that I've installed, and these are the apps that are recommended. These are the ones that for sure work with the watch and this phone. So WhatsApp actually wasn't on a recommended application, but I actually don't even SMS at all anymore. I just strictly use WhatsApp and Line and Kakao and WeChat and all that. So I had to find this on Google actually separately and just install an APK on my phone and then go to this and then install it onto there. So basically what happens is when you go to, for example, Twitter, the smartwatch store, it doesn't actually house anything. It actually just directs you to Google Play, and you can see we just went straight to Google Play here, so you can install it. Happens with pretty much any app you pick. Like if you want a missed call app, once again, the Sony store on your Smart Connect doesn't have any apps themselves. They just have under the username or the publisher name Sony Mobile Communications, they have all the apps here. So you can go to Google Play, search, and then look for all of the apps that you want on Google Play that'll work for this. I found that a lot of them, the good ones, I think the one that that Sony recommended for WhatsApp was a paid one. So be sure to be aware that you might run into a lot of paid apps. If you don't mind paying for apps, go right ahead. That's the smartwatch pretty much in its entirety. There's not much to it because it's pretty bare bones. Once again, oh, you know what? Let's do some drawbacks. These aren't my personal drawbacks. This is the drawbacks we've actually faced with. Now, you can't text on this. So, and I understand if you're driving, it's just kind of meant to, you know, if you're driving your car and you're like, la la la, someone texts me, oh boom, I can see who it is. It says, hey, be here in 5 minutes or whatever. It's meant to kind of discourage you from writing a full-out text message on a tiny screen while you're driving or riding a bike or whatever. But it would be nice to have some sort of two-way communication option because that never stopped people on their cell phones when they're driving, so I don't know why they restrict it here. You can't text back on this, you can't WhatsApp back, you can't answer any posts, you can't like posts on Facebook, there's no web browser, there's no LED. I would like to see an LED just because they have a flashlight, because they have kind of a camera feature. The alarm is cool, timer is to be expected. Another drawback is you can't answer a call when a call comes into you on your watch or your phone through your watch. It actually just tells you whether there's a call coming and it says, you know, John Cell is calling, reject with SMS, or just cancel. There's no actual way to answer the call on your watch. Other than that, it's not too bad. Oh, and I guess another drawback, and this isn't my opinion, this is an actual drawback. It's $200 for the watch. It's $199.99 retail. Sure, you can find it cheaper on eBay or Craigslist or whatever, but the phone's value, MSRP, is $200 plus any taxes and eco fee. We have to pay 40 cents eco fee and 12% tax in BC. So it came out to $224 just for the watch. So it's kind of steep for something you actually can't do too much on its own. You can't pick this up and go, boom, it's on my wrist. Other than telling time, there's nothing else it can really do other than like a alarm and maybe an event notification for when it's somebody's birthday. But other than that, the watch is great. I like it. I really like the watch. I wish it was $69.99. That would have been awesome. But the watch is really good. It feels great on your wrist. And what I like about it is that when you have it on, let me just go off camera for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right. When it's on, because this is plastic and this is rubber, you can rest it on the table all you want, and while you're typing, and it's not going to scratch the watch, and it's not going to scratch your table or anything else. It's actually really cool. The only part you have to worry about is the front, because it's full kind of glass capacitive touch bezel screen flat combination. So that's the only part you have to really be concerned with. Otherwise, the build quality everywhere else isn't cheap. It's just practical. So it's good for all world conditions. Sorry about the lengthy review, but this is a full review for the Sony Smartwatch 2. If you guys have any other questions, you can message us or you can comment on this video. We are very good with comments. We always reply to every single comment now that YouTube fixed their system. If you don't have a Google Plus account, we can't reply to you, unfortunately. This is the Sony Smartwatch 2. Thank you guys for watching. So that's the Sony Smartwatch 2. Really hope you guys got a good idea of what the watch is all about. If you guys want to go and buy one, if you guys want to go and see if you can get one on Craigslist or wherever else, maybe eBay, get a good deal on one. I think $200 is a little pushing it for something that's just kind of, you know, all the information just kind of passes through. You can't really do much on it on its own, but it's a good extension. Maybe not for $200. It's up to you guys, but smartwatches are on the rise. There's lots of choices for everyone. When we were at CES earlier in the year, there were 6 other companies that were not so much the big boys, kind of like Sony and Samsung, that did smartwatches. So there's bound to be a lot of competition out there and a lot of great prices, a price range, I should say. So thank you guys everyone for watching our videos. You are making it all worth it and making it all possible that we can do this every single week. And we have over 820-ish videos on youtube.com/goodreader. Keep watching. Thank you guys everybody.